these notes will put into writing all of our different types of chemical reactions. So please title your page Types of Chemical Reactions. The first type of chemical reaction we're going to talk about is what we call combination reaction. We can also call it synthesis. This means, just like what it sounds, putting together two individual things. So typically we have a single element plus a single element coming together to make a compound. In letter terms, we have A plus B coming together to make AB. An example of this would be if we have magnesium plus oxygen, so we burn it in oxygen, and that makes magnesium oxide. I check my charges. Oh, that magnesium there, or that oxygen there should be a -2. And I balance. At this point, you should be able to do the balancing all on your own. The second type of reaction we're going to talk about is decomposition reaction. Decomposition reactions are pretty much the opposite of a combination. It's the breaking apart of a compound. So we start with a compound and we make a single atom plus a single atom. We can make new compounds when we break things up. The most important thing, though, is that we start with one thing. So we are starting with AB, and that goes to form A plus B. An example of this would be ammonium dichromate, that is NH4, in parentheses, 2Cr2O7, which breaks apart to form N2, which is nitrogen gas, water, H2O, and Cr2O3. All these examples that I'm giving to you in this set of notes will be shown in class. When I go to balance these, I count my atoms on both sides, and then I add coefficients to make them balanced. The next type of reaction we're going to talk about is single replacement reactions. Single replacement reactions occur when we have two reactants, typically a compound and then a single element. The single element goes in to replace one of the parts of the compound. You have to replace the like charges. So if the single element would form a positive charge, then it's going to replace the positively charged part of the compound. So in letter terms, we'd have AB as a compound plus C goes to make CB plus A. We have two examples for this one. The first one is dropping some zinc into hydrochloric acid, so HCl plus Zn, which makes ZnCl2 plus H2, which is hydrogen gas. Go ahead and balance that. The second example here is silver nitrate, which is AgNO3, plus copper, which is Cu, which makes CuNO3 2 plus Ag. Check your work here on the sheet. The fourth type of chemical reaction we're going to talk about is double replacement. Double replacement happens when we have two compounds and they switch partners. So we start with a compound plus a compound. And that makes new compounds, 2 new compounds. So another compound plus a compound. In terms of letters, we'd have something along the lines of AB plus CD, which makes CA and AD. Sorry, CB and AD. Our example here would be copper nitrate, CuNO3, have to crisscross the charges, plus NaOH, which makes sodium nitrate, NaNO3, plus copper hydroxide, which is CuOH2. Go ahead and check your work here as I do it. Count your atoms and add coefficients to make them balanced. Our final type of chemical reaction that we're going to talk about is a combustion reaction. Now we think of something exploding or some sort of fire happening with combustion, and this is true. For combustion, we have a carbon-based fuel, so something with carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, plus oxygen to burn in, which makes carbon dioxide and water. The products of this never change. You will always have oxygen as a reactant and carbon dioxide and water as a product. So for our letter format, we're going to have CXHXOX. That just means the X's could be any number, plus O2, which makes CO2 plus H2O. Make sure you spaced out your notes appropriately so that you have room to tape some things when we are in class.